All right, one of the things that Kevin and I had been kind of talking about is some of the crazy customizations that I've done to my pack. This is a Duplex Timberline 1, and I've whittled it down to basically nothing, to where anything I didn't need, I've cut off. Now, one of the things that makes Kevin and the people here at Cafaro a little nervous about that is when you cut something off, it will not grow back. So you need to make sure that it's perfectly fitted, you know what you want, before you hack anything away, because you get quite a bit of things returned from guys.
Sure, people do cut things off and then they didn't realize they needed it for a specific purpose, and then they need to buy a new belt, or they've cut their delta straps too short because
Cafaro's warranty will not cover you hacking things away with a razor blade. So make sure that's up front, I guess, as I'm talking about this, because I have cut a lot off mine. So what I've done is I've taken the long hunter lid, and I have literally cut everything off except the 2 tension locks or ladder locks and the 2 female buckles. I had 3-bar sliders on here, some webbing.
He had a belt, because this actually turns into like a lumbar pack with a sling, and then the belt would fit in here. He actually cut that off because he doesn't use it. Now, some people will want to use that, so they don't, obviously. But for some people that are never going to use that for that lumbar pack, they're going to cut it off.
Now, you can also, believe it or not, you could cut this material off, but what I do is on that lumbar pack webbing, it has 2 buckles for your waist belt. Those buckles are very important because if you shut this in the door of a bear cub or your car door and snap this buckle, you're more or less screwed. So I keep the 2 buckles that came with this fanny pack extra inside of this, so I have 2 extra waist belt buckles. I have never broken one of these, but I have seen 2 guys slam these in car doors and crack them. Now, they were still usable, but if you get 100 pounds in it, where they cracked it right here, it'll eventually pop off. It's very rare. These are really tough buckles. They're Nexus, but they can break, obviously, if you hit them with a car
Another thing,
door.
too, if you do cut anything off, what you really want to do, Aaron's bad about this, he doesn't usually burn it, but
You did it for me.
you want to burn some of the edges so that, so that it doesn't keep fraying on you and everything, but it's nylon, it'll burn and melt, and then it won't fray anymore.
Yep, so that's the long hunter lid, and that actually took that down just below 7 ounces compared to right at a pound, I guess, before. So I've cut the weight off of that, cut it in half. The next thing I did, I'm going to go ahead and just pull this lid off, is with the Duplex Timberline 1, you have this, basically this collar right here with a pull cord, and then above this, 8 inches higher, I think it's 8 inches, maybe 6, you have a snow collar. I have cut that snow collar off, which you really need to be careful with this. I just took a Havalon knife and cut around it. Above the snow collar, you have one of these pull cords, but I also have one here. Honestly, no one knows that I've cut it off. You can't tell. It's stitched. It doesn't harm the pack unless you jam your razor blade through it. So I've cut the snow collar off, mostly because anything I put above this, I can honestly just compress with my long hunter lid in there, and I just didn't need the collar. So I cut that off. Now, these shoulder straps were new because we've done a few videos today. The webbing that comes off of the bottom of this blade and then feeds down through here, I cut that on my old shoulder straps to where I only had 4 inches past this 3-bar slider. I cut that off. I also cut these plastic D-ring-ish things. I'm not sure what they're called. You got?
Well, they're mainly for like attaching like a GPS.
Dummy cord.
Yeah, dummy cord, GPS, depending on what company they come from, that kind of thing.
Yep, so I cut that off completely on both of these. I actually had some like dikes and I snapped those off. These are new shoulder straps, so they're still on there. So I took those off. I took on the bottom of this pack, you have a divider. This is full of stuff, so I'm not going to open it. You have a sleeping bag divider. I cut that, well, let's just open it up. I cut that divider off. So what I've really done is made this one big bag, because I don't use a divider. I don't anybody make fun of me. We talked earlier that this was just pillows and some pine needles. So that divider that was in here was right I don't know if you can see that, was right across this line. I just took a razor blade and I cut that off. It's got 3 Velcro webbings. Now this, I've also, actually I've got 2 of these packs. On my other pack, I also cut this webbing off with these plastic common loops. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4.
Yeah, there's 4 common loops at the bottom of your backpack where the sleeping bag is supposed to be at. And what they're designed for actually is for a lock and load pocket.
Then, now this one I haven't customized yet, but you also have 3 more of these where the divider Velcro comes through and locks back into the divider. I also cut these off. In fact, as soon as we're done with this video, Kevin and I are going to cut and burn these. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of webbing and plastic common loops. Those will go out the door. So after that, on this frame, and I'm not going to go into this a whole lot because I don't suggest this to too many people, but on these Delta straps, these Delta straps hook to the pack. When you pull these off, you actually have another section on this pack where these Delta straps will hook to on the actual frame.
If you're just using the frame.
Yeah, as a hauler.
You know, if you cut them off, then you'll never be able to use this as a hauler.
We need to make sure and repeat that again. Don't ever cut these. I've done this so people obviously know I cut those off. I can never use this pack.
This frame as a hauler.
This frame is with a cargo panel. I can use it, grab it, and you know, carry a little bit of stuff. But these Deltas will never hook back to this pack or this frame again, only to my pack. But I've cut those off. There's a handle on top of this frame that simulates this handle that's on the bag. Well, actually, it's right here. Okay, so that handle on my other pack, I cut that off too. Really what this does is makes this entire pack, you lose just over 1.25 pounds of weight when you've cut all this stuff off. The only reason I'm talking about that is so people know if you do cut that off, Kafara will not warranty it, but it does save you a significant amount of weight. You just want to make sure the pack is dialed in, you know what you're going to use it for, and you're never going to resell the pack because nobody's probably going to want to buy it because you've hacked the hell out of it. So that's generally what I do with my packs right out of the gate. I use them a lot and I know what I want, so that's kind of the moral of this story here. Other than that, I really haven't customized too much other than that. So either way, that's what I do. We're going to wrap this up and move on to bigger and brighter things.